So today we're going to demonstrate how you can take your data file of the names and addresses that you pulled from our website and how you can merge them onto whichever type of mailing that you're doing. It may be that you have a letter and you want the names and addresses to appear on every letter, or maybe you just want to merge the names and addresses onto labels. Or it could be that you want to merge the information onto some envelopes. We are going to demonstrate how to do a mail merge on all three avenues. So I've created, for the sake of this training video, a fictitious data file with names and addresses, and I've also created a fictitious letter that I'd like to mail out to these recipients. So let's just take a look at the data file just so you can see how it compares to what you've pulled. Again, all the names, addresses, everything on here is fictitious. It was just for the sake of having a file to use. So for my file, I created a column for first name, last name, full address, city, state, zip, mortgage amount, lender name, transaction date, and county name. Your file may have more fields on it. You might have dwelling type. You might also have the published date, and that's fine. Once you do the mail merge, you're only going to pull the fields that you want on the document anyway. So of course, something like mortgage amount or lender name is not going to be on a label. So that's what we have for our data file. I can close that. You do not need to have it open. You just need to know where it is. So I'll close that, and again, it's on my desktop. Now my advertising letter is here, my sample Word document, so I'm going to open that. Because I've already done the mail merge and to practice with this training video, it's already telling me that it's going to be selecting from a particular spreadsheet, and that's fine. I can say yes. Okay, so here is my fictitious letter, my fictitious company, ABC Insurance Company. And on my letter, I want to put each recipient's name and address here at the top. And then here in regarding, I might say something like it's regarding your mortgage with, and say the lender's name. I'll put the lender's name in there, and then maybe even their mortgage amount. And then, of course, in here next to Dear, I'm going to have the merge put their first and last name. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we're going to first go up to the Word in Word document mailings. We're going to say Start Mail Merge. I did envelopes last, but you can ignore that. We're just going to go down to, we're going to do the step-by-step mail merge wizard. And in that wizard, we'll be able to pick what we're using. So I'm going to click on that, and this right side column now becomes our to-do list. So select recipients. Recipients is where do you want Word to pull the data from? So although it already knows where mine is, you see it's saying here sample file for mail merge. That's the name of my document or my data file. I'm going to select a different one just so you can see the process that you'll have to use. So select a different list, or yours might just say select a list. And now it wants you to browse for it. I already know mine's on my desktop, so I'll click on desktop, and then I'm going to double click sample file for mail merge. That's my data file. You can see it's an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, every Excel spreadsheet has more than one sheet. Typically, your data is always going to be on sheet 1, so that's the default. So since that is selected in blue, I can hit OK. It's showing me what's on that spreadsheet, which I already showed you, and that's fine. I don't need to do anything here. I'll hit OK. And so now we can go down to the bottom. Next, arrange your envelopes. Okay, so if you've not already done so, lay out your envelope now. Of course, that's because I did envelopes last, but it knows that we're working on a document. So what I want to do is I want to add an address block right here. So I'm going to put my cursor there and click in the document. That's where I'm going to add it. And now I'm going to click on address block. And you'll see here it already arranged my first recipient on my spreadsheet in the correct manner. It could be that your fields aren't matching up. Maybe when you do this, it just says Bob Smith in Atlanta, Georgia. If that's the case, you'll have to come down here to match fields and make sure that the header names on your data file can be matched up to these names in Word. So I did have to change this one. My spreadsheet does not say address 1. My spreadsheet says full address. So I had to come here and select it. These are the names on my spreadsheet. So if you are missing a field in here, this is why. You need to go over to match field and match the name that's on your spreadsheet. So full address is correct. We can hit OK. This is exactly how I want it, so I'll hit OK. So it says address block. Now down here it says regarding your mortgage with, right here, I want to just get one item. So I'll click on more items. I want lender name. Insert. Okay. So your mortgage with, it will say the lender name, and I could say of, and I'm going to say an amount. Of, let's go pick a mortgage amount. More items. Mortgage amount. Insert. Close. Okay, so now I want to say dear, and I want first name and last name. So put your mouse exactly where you want it. More items, first name, insert. I got to close because I need to add the space before last name. And now come over to more items, last name, insert, close. Okay, so that's everything that I want. And in looking at this document, it looks like address block is in a smaller font. It's not as big as the font here. So I'm just going to select everything and give it all one font. I have to go back home. And I'm going to pick Arial. And 12 is good. So I want everything to be 12. Okay, so everything looks good. So now I can go on to the next step in the bottom right. Next, preview your envelopes. We know it's a document. Okay, so there's everything. Now if I wanted to clean this up a little bit, maybe this is too much of a gap, we can go ahead and clean that up. If you want the comma in on your mortgage amounts, you'll have to make that adjustment on the spreadsheet so that it will be there. I can do it now, but I don't believe that's going to apply to every letter, just this letter. So, but we can look at every letter here, preview. Let's go and look at our recipients. Okay, so everything looks good. Again, the comma didn't go for every letter, that you'll have to change on the spreadsheet. And we can keep going. If you find that there's one on here that you don't want to send it to, you can exclude them. And you just make sure everything looks good. Of course, if you've got, you know, a lot of them, you don't have to go through every single one. But this is giving you a sample of what they're going to look like. So next you can complete the merge. And then you can actually, by clicking edit individual envelopes, this will merge them. So every document, every letter will be its own page. So click OK. And now you can scroll through all of your letters that have all been merged before you print them. Okay, so that is a mail merge to a letter or document. Let's next do the labels. From there you can save this too before I move on. If you wanted to save this to print it later, or save it so that you can email it to somebody else and have them print it, you would just come to File and Save. At this point I want a new Word document so that I can start my labels. So new blank document, and then click Create on the right. So now we're again going to go to Mailings, Start Mail Merge, Step-by-Step Mail Merge Wizard, and we're going to say Labels. Click Next to continue. Change document layout. Yes, we want the layout to be based on the labels that we are using. So at this time you need to know what labels are you using, what's the name brand, what's the number, so that these labels will match up correctly with your label. So go to Label Options. I'm going to select one that's common, but of course you can't select the same one I'm selecting. You have to make sure you select the labels that you purchased and that you're going to be using. So I'm going to, for the sake of the training, I'm going to select Avery US, and they're number 5260. See, it tells you the labels here. They're an inch high and they're 1.26 inches wide. An inch high, yep. So there's and it's on a sheet of labels that come 8.5 by 11. So I'll click OK. In order to apply the label options, Word must delete the current contents. That's fine. That's why I started a new document. So say OK. All right. So now we have to select our recipients, use an existing list, and now we have to browse again for that spreadsheet. So browse. It's on my desktop. Mail, merge, no, sample files, the XLS, Excel file. Double click or hit open. Sheet 1, as we mentioned, is what you want. Click OK. There's the data. That's OK. And so here you'll see that my labels are 3 across and 10 down per sheet. So now what I need to do is arrange my labels. Go to the next page, arrange your labels. And again, we're going to put ourselves where we need to be. Already my mouse is in the first label. I want the address block again, so we come here. Everything looks the way we want it. Select OK. You'll notice that address block is only showing up in the very first label. So we need it to show up in every label. So what we need to do now is on the right side, you'll see the button that says Update All Labels. So click that. And now you see every label has address block. So now preview your labels. And of course I only had 10 records, so here's my 10 records. You may have 10 pages of labels. I just have this small amount. You can see everything on the one screen here. So we'll now complete the merge, lower right. And from here we can, they're already merged, so at this point you can just print from here. I would suggest printing just one page first onto regular paper. Then take that sheet of paper and hold it up to your labels and make sure that everything's lining up correctly. Because if something needs to be adjusted, you want to know that before you print out 10 pages of labels and now you have to throw them all out because this last line falls off the label. So just to play it safe, labels are expensive, just print one page first, and then if that's good, then print all, then put the labels into your printer and print them all. And again, you can save this or print and close it, whatever you want to do. So at this point now your labels are done. And now let's demonstrate the envelopes. So we'll again start with a new document, new blank document, create. And again, we're going to go up to mailings, start mail merge, step-by-step mail merge wizard. This time we want envelopes. Okay, so next, click next to continue, next. Change document, yes. What envelope are you using? Are you using the standard size 10 envelope? It's 4 1/8 by 9.5 inches. If not, you'll need to change it. But you do need to tell the system which envelope you're using. So for the sake of this, we're using size 10. So now I need to select the recipients again. Browse for our spreadsheet. It's on my desktop. Sample file for mail merge, sheet 1. Okay, there it is. Okay. Now at this point, you may have envelopes that already have your return address on them. They have your letterhead on them. If you don't and you're not using a return address label or stamp, you could put it on here now and it will print on every envelope. ABC Insurance Company, 123 Main Street, Atlanta, Georgia 30033. So now it will have a return address. So here we can go on to the next step, and that's only if you need it. If you don't, just leave it blank. So now we want to arrange our envelope. We want to put an address block down here. So press somewhere, click somewhere on the envelope down here so that the address block shows up. There it is. You can see it boxed in. So now I'm going to select address block. Again, there's our address. It looks good. We've already matched the fields, so we'll click OK. And there's the address block. Now we can preview the envelopes. There it is. We can look through them here at the top. Preview your envelopes. Arrow over to see if, make sure they all look good. Nothing's out of the box. Okay, look good. So now we can complete the merge. Again, edit individual envelopes to merge all of these records to their own page. So now you can see here's our first envelope, our second envelope, our third, and of course if you have 200, 500, you're not going to look through all of them, but as a good sample you can just scan them real quick, make sure everything looks good. And of course you'll want to figure out ahead of time which way do you have to put the envelopes in the printer so that they print correctly on the right side and up or down, so they're not upside down on your envelope. And again, you can save it if you want, or you can close it. At this point, if you've printed them, you should be done. So now you have the mail merge to a letter, to labels, and to an envelope. If you have any questions or problems, give us an email at kyc@kycdata.com. Thank you.